Hey friends, let me tell you a little bit about what is happening with this new moon in Scorpio. Whoa, boy howdy. So the new moon in Scorpio happened Friday morning about 8:45 Eastern time. And this new moon is all about shadow, right? It's all about conflict, power struggles, tension, emotional intensity, um, trying to kind of gain ground and find your footing in this new expression of who you are. Shadow is deeply at play because Scorpio is the ruler of shadow. Scorpio is a water sign, which means there's a lot of emotion as well. We're dealing with unseen. And the shadow that we're working with is like super, super deep shadow. And anytime we work with shadow, it can be challenging and bring things to light that that are uncomfortable. But this one in particular, because Mars and Pluto are at play, this one is especially uncomfortable, I think, is the way that I will say this. And the reason that is because right now you are being called to transform, to make changes, to really bring that shadow to light and follow your desires. So you may be having difficult conversations. You may be making some really difficult choices right now. And I'm talking like career changes, relationship changes, anything, like just really massive, massive changes right now. We can see this in society. I'm in the United States right now. The election is next week. And so for us, for ourselves, this is a time of really intense desires, and those desires can easily turn into aggressive urges. And so because there's a lot of emotion and there's a lot of upheaval and there's a lot of conflict and it feels really uncomfortable. And what do you do when you're uncomfortable? You get defensive. And so your job right now is to put your feet on the ground, to take a breath and recognize when those desires and the intensity and frustration of not being met, those desires not being met, are turning into aggression or anger, right? Remember that anything done in excess or extreme leads to dissonance and suffering, right? And remember that you are in an emotional moment and this is a major transformation. The reason this feels so hard is because it is required for us to make the massive changes that we are being asked to do, right? If we're comfortable, we're not going to change. And so these changes that we are doing are big ones. And because of the big ask from the universe, from ourselves, really is what it is, we have to be really uncomfortable. Otherwise, there's no motivation and we don't follow through, right? So let's talk a little bit about righteous rage, because these desires that are coming to the surface that are being shown to you, you're starting to recognize, you're done. Like those are things that you have thought about for a long time. Those the things that have been percolating. So I'm talking about with shadow, right? These are things you've been hanging on to that you just are done with, right? Like I just can't handle it anymore. I just can't do it anymore. Like that is what I'm talking about. And the fact that you have been handling and hanging on to those and processing those on your own for so long turns into a righteous rage, right? And so take a little bit of perspective, let that rage fuel your actions in the sense of finding out where you want to go with that, right? It's not just enough to be or have righteous rage. What are you going to do with that? Right? Have a little self-discipline, find your body again, come back into your body, and then with increased determination, with clarity, what actions will serve you, right? It's all about throat chakra too. My throat chakra is super activated. So no more, let me regroup here. No more stabs in the dark. No more trying all of the things. No more keeping it to yourself. You know what the next steps are. Trust yourself. You know what your desires are and what outcomes you are actually looking for. This may be the first time you are ever bringing that to light. You are ever forming the thoughts or making the words. And it's super scary. It's super new. It means your world might change. But that's what this new moon in Scorpio is all about. So really harness that drive, harness that energy of that righteous rage, get really clear on what you want, and then really make a plan and start to take action. Because right now it is fertile and the universe is pushing you into this. You can't go back. And when you take clear action that shows you and the universe what you are wanting. And so your life can start to morph into exactly what you desire. And like, it's not just like more ease and joy and butterflies and rainbows. I'm talking like career changes, relationship changes, lifestyle changes, all of these major alterations. This is literally death and rebirth right now. And that is not fun and that is not comfortable. So what do you do with that? Go sit, go meditate, go sit, go ponder, go listen to yourself, and really ask yourself, what do you want? What do you really, really, really want? And that's a hard question to answer. You don't have to tell anyone else right now. This is for you and you alone. What do you really, really want? What tools do you have at your fingertips that you have not seen or have refused to use? You know what I'm talking about, right? Like, we are our own worst enemies. We get in our own way. What tools are there that you have either not seen or ignored or refused to use? Now is the time, right? This is hard work. You can do this. What is one thing today? This is the last thing I want you to ask yourself. What is the one thing you can do today to make everything else a little bit easier? Maybe that is going to take a nap. Maybe that is saying no to something. Maybe that is writing out a difficult conversation that you need to have. Maybe that is wearing different clothes. Maybe is, who knows what it is. Do one thing, and that one thing will make everything else a little bit easier. The first step is always the hardest. And right now, you're asked to take that first step. Phew. So take a breath, my friends. You can do it. I believe in you. You're not playing around anymore. Now is the time to not play around anymore. This is for real. Take a breath, take some time, make a plan, and believe in yourself above all else. This is going to be amazing. You are going to do amazing things, and I cannot wait to see what that turns into. Satnam.